it's a slippery slope. And so drugs for many people, especially those with addictive personalities, you need to be more careful than last time. Coach Greg, and have you seen James English physique? Mind-blowing. The guy absolutely shredded, bone dry. In today's video, we're going to go over his diet and supplements that he's using to get that crazy shredded physique. And first thing I have to point out is you have to respect James English for being completely transparent. He's not pulling any punches, not hiding the fact that he's taking certain compounds. And so unlike other YouTubers, the guy is open, honest, telling you what he's taking. Not just the over-the-counter products, but also the other PDs as well. And in particular, I was most intrigued by his choice of breakfast. And I'm not talking about the food as in he didn't eat a breakfast, but the supplements he was using to curb his appetite. And so remember, I'm not hating on the guy. He's quite literally saying exactly what he's taking to not deceive the public, to explain just how difficult bodybuilding competition prep really is.
You know, this is the champion's breakfast right here. 40 micrograms of clenbuterol, 5 milligrams extended release adderall.
And so meal one, the breakfast of champions, 40 micrograms of clenbuterol, a well-known PD used to help aid in fat burning. 5 milligrams of adderall, something you can take if you have ADHD, for example. As well as rowalcine, a natural over-the-counter supplement that you can take. You can get it from Derek More Plates, More Dates. Essentially considered to be a potent form of yohimbine. I personally can't take it. It makes me sick. Don't like the way it makes me feel. And he takes this first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, not gonna eat, and does his fasted cardio. And so what do I think of this? Honestly, he's taken a lot less than a lot of bodybuilders would take. A lot of competitive bodybuilders are abusing these kind of drugs to decrease their appetite and make it through to competition time. However, for the average person, please don't copy this breakfast of champions. This is a stack that you should not be taking, and I'm sure he knows that it's not safe, healthy, and is not something that you should be doing. He's not encouraging you to do this. This is something that he's doing that he needs to do to get his body to sub 5% body fat to win his competition. He also knows his diet is not one that you should follow. It is not realistic. It's not something that you can sustain. And so he's simply disclosing what he's doing because he wants to be honest and transparent. He's not a fake natty. He's not lying. He's not deceiving you. He's simply saying, this is what I'm doing. Don't copy it. Not suggesting you do what I'm doing, but this is how I am doing it. And so you have to respect James English for doing this. He's being open, honest, transparent, and so there should be no haters. He's being honest. He's telling you what he's doing. You don't need to listen to it. Now, personally, I've used Clen and Adderall in the past. These are strong drugs. Clenbuterol done in small doses, tapering upwards, can in fact decrease your appetite. Can also help you expend more calories. Increase your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And so if you're taking these drugs, it will allow you to burn more calories, give you more energy. But the downfall is it can make it very difficult to sleep. And so if you're not getting the sleep that you need at night, you can't recover, increase cortisol, increase ghrelin. That can make you hungry later in the day or perhaps the following day. And so with any drug, what goes up, it must come down. When you first start taking these drugs, it's going to absolutely reduce your appetite. And when you're dieting to this extent, single-digit body fat, you're looking for anything that can get you through to the next day. Food constantly on the mind. You're hungry, starving, can hardly get through a workout. And so if you take these PDs or other drugs to give you energy, it can certainly help. Not that it's healthy, but it can allow you to get the energy that you need. And so 40 micrograms, if you were to start at that dose, that is a lot. If you take 40 micrograms and your hands aren't shaking on day one, perhaps it's fake or you're a very poor responder to Clen. First day, when I took it in the past, 10 micrograms. And for some people, 10 micrograms literally makes their hands shake or they even get a headache. And so please start at the lowest possible dose if you are going to do it at all and slowly go up from there. In the past, when I coach people to take Clen, I would say start at 10 micrograms. And if you're shaking or really noticing it a lot, don't increase the dose. However, if you take it and you can't feel it anymore, as your body slowly adapts to this, you can then up the dose. Not by a lot, 5 micrograms. If you start at 10, go to 15. There is no reason to double it. Oftentimes, people start at 10, 20, go to 40, then 80. You're doubling the dose. You don't need to take such high doses. And so 40 micrograms, that is a lot. My last competition, I started at 10 and upped the dose to approximately 40 on my highest day. Some people, when they use Clen, they'll do it for 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. Personally, I'm not a fan of that. Also, some will do it for 5 days and take the weekend off. Also not a fan. I personally think you should wait as long as possible before starting to use Clen. Save it for when you really need it, when you are at a sticking point, and slowly increase the dose as you need it until the competition. The Rewalsine, you can use code JAM if you get it from Derek More Plates, More Dates. I'm sure James English would appreciate that. It does, in fact, support him. So if you want to get it, use code JAM. For me, however, I don't like it. I'm just not a fan. It makes me sick. For others, hey, makes them feel great. And so it's obviously individual dose dependent. Some people use it and get great results from it. Others, like me, makes them feel a little queasy, makes them a little sick. Depends on you, so please experiment, do what makes you feel best. Next up, the Adderall, perhaps the most controversial of the three, and you're thinking, why would someone take Adderall? During contest prep, there's two main reasons. One, gives you way more energy. You feel like Cookbook, you're lethargic, no energy. Adderall is a potent stimulant. It's going to make you have more energy than last time. I remember the first time I took Adderall, 5 milligrams, same dose as he did, had so much energy. I said, I can't take pre-workout. This is crazy. Went to the gym, trained, no pre-workout, had so much energy for 8 hours. And the second reason is it dramatically curbs your appetite. And when you're dieting to this extent, I don't care how amazing your genetics are, you're going to be not only hungry, but starving practically every minute of every single day. You just finish a meal, you're hungry. James English has felt the exact same thing. I've watched a number of his videos. He finishes a meal, he's like, I'm hungry right now. Finish the meal 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes, and you're still hungry. You're constantly fighting your appetite, and that is why it's so difficult to maintain single-digit body fat. And so despite his amazing, way above average genetics, you're going to debate me? Look at this kid's physique. He still is using these compounds to make life bearable. It is no easy task to get in mind-blowing condition the way that James English is doing for his very first competition. And so you've heard all the reasons why to take these things. Now I'm going to tell you the dangers. It is a slippery slope. I have coached a number of competitors who said, I'm going to do it all natural. All natural. I'm like, great, let's do this. They start dieting, things are going great, amazing. As the competition gets closer, they're getting hungrier, ghrelin's going up. They're thinking, is there anything else I can do? I'm doing my best. Low calorie dense foods, pre-workout, fat burners, and so on, all helping to an extent. That in Clen, yeah, that helps too. Decreases your appetite, expend more energy. Is there anything else I could take? I need something. Somebody told me to take Adderall. Well, I can't lie. Personally, yes, I have also used it. Sparingly, not every day, because I know that it's very easy to become dependent and or addicted to this compound. Trust me, you start at 5 milligrams, and before you know it, it's not enough. Goes to 10, 20, 30 or more milligrams a day. I know a number of competitors and non-competitors who have started using Adderall could not stop. Easy to get addicted. You see the reflection in the mirror, you're no longer happy with it. You thought you'd be happy when you got to single-digit body fat. Nope, not enough. You keep dieting, dropping weight. Before you know it, it's never enough. You use more drugs, and before you know it, you're abusing all kinds of rec drugs. Not just Adderall, but other harsher, more strong compounds, perhaps snorting that white creatine. I'm not talking about creatine, something else that's white. All to get the energy to curb your appetite because you want to look amazing. Slippery slope. And so what do I think of 5 milligrams? I think that if you use 5 milligrams occasionally, not every day, and didn't increase the dose, probably not going to be that harmful. Not saying you should do it, not recommending you try it, but I'm being totally transparent what I actually think. And remember, I'm not a doctor. Don't use any of this stuff unless, of course, it's prescribed and monitored by your very own doctor, and I am not your doctor. And so my personal opinion is it's better to not use these compounds if at all possible, or at least wait until the very last minute. Wait until the end when your contest prep is so hardcore that you just can't bear it anymore. I would never use Adderall weeks before a show. It's something I would use at the very end if I was desperate. If I knew I was suffering to that extent and I just needed that edge so that I could make it over to the next day. I've been transparent of how hard it is for me to diet to get down to sub 5% body fat. It is a living nightmare. And so if you try to emulate or copy guys like James English and start using Adderall, it's a slippery slope. Remember, this guy is already shredded and he's trying to get more shredded. Oftentimes people say, I'm going on a diet. I'm obese. I'm going to start adding all these things. Are you kidding me? Do you know how easy it is to lose weight when you first start a diet? It's simple. Eat a bit less calories, do a bit of cardio, you're going to lose weight. But when you've been dieting day after day, weeks turn into months, you're sub 10% body fat, enough becomes enough. And really, for the most part, I would say, hey, stop the diet. You're too lean. You have no energy. You don't feel good. Can't sleep. Loss of libido. Stop dieting. But that's different in bodybuilding because we're taking this to the extreme. The leaner you get, the better. And so in the real world, for the normal person, you don't want a diet like this. You don't want a dramatic calorie deficit. You don't need to get up and take the breakfast of champions. Adderall, Rowalcine, clenbuterol, not the case. And guess what? You don't have to do fasted cardio. You can get up, eat a normal breakfast, do cardio after. It's fine. Calories in, calories out. But James English is taking it to the extreme because he wants to win at all costs.
I'm also going to go take my first shot of growth hormone.
And add to this, he's going to inject GH growth hormone. And he's admittedly saying it might sound like a weird concoction for breakfast. And yeah, it is. But that's what I'm doing. And that's why I like James English. He's being totally honest and transparent. He could get a lot of flack for this, saying what he's taking, but he has the courage, the balls, or what's left of them, probably half the size from injecting tests and so on. But he has the guts to tell you this. He's not hiding. He's not holding back. He's telling you, this is what I'm doing. And so he's taking growth hormone, which also helps with nutrient partitioning. More of the food that he's eating is going to turn to muscle rather than being stored as fat. If two people are on the exact same calorie diet and one adds growth hormone and the other doesn't, person that adds in the growth hormone going to use more of the food to build muscle than the person not using it. And so he's using growth hormone in order to build more muscle, recover better. Better fat burning, gonna look leaner than last time. So although growth hormone can help burn more fat, build more muscle, it's not a compound you want to take as the show gets too close. If you do, you potentially can hold more water, look bloated, puffy, not the look you want on stage.
Can't break the fucking law of thermodynamics, as Greg always says.
And so James English quotes me, can't break the laws of thermodynamics. He knows this. And James is very intelligent. I've spoken to him many times in the DMs and so on. The guy is a smart guy, somebody you should watch and follow. He gives great information. And so please don't write in the comments section, I'm shitting on James English, because I know that's what people like to do.
I almost forgot to mention the only reason that I'm taking all this stuff is because we're about to do fasted cardio.
And so James knows it's calories in, calories out at the end of the day, but he's still choosing to leverage fasted cardio because if you do fasted cardio on an empty stomach, there's a greater percentage of fat being used for energy as opposed to glycogen and or stored body fat. However, what's also true is if you eat after cardio, you're then going to burn less fat following the cardio. And so overall, it still balances out. However, there's nothing wrong with doing fasted cardio. However, I like to point out that if you're doing fasted cardio and you don't have the energy to do the cardio at the same pace you could have if you had eaten, you're better off to have eaten and done fed cardio than fasted cardio, because ultimately, whatever way allows you to burn more calories is what's going to burn more fat. Another thing I'd like to mention is the slower you do cardio, the greater percentage of fat that you're burning in comparison to carbs. And so if you do very hard cardio, you're actually burning a greater percentage of carbs and a lower percentage of fat. But that doesn't matter, because what matters is the end of the day, whatever allows you to be in a greater caloric deficit is going to ultimately allow you to lose the most weight. But it's also important not to do cardio at such a hard pace that you're sore or tired, exhausted from it. And so if you're going out for a run every morning, doing hard cardio and thinking, well, I burnt more calories, but you're sore, then you're not going to train as hard when you do your weights. And so those of you who are running for cardio and you're getting tired legs, how are you going to train your squats, leg press, leg extensions, and so on with those sore legs? Much better to do LISS or MISS cardio, as in low or moderately intense steady state cardio, than it is to do HIIT cardio. But you're thinking, no, HIIT is better, it burns more calories, and in the aftermath, you burn fat for days. It's not true. Although it burns more calories in the aftermath, it's only by 6 to 15% as shown in several studies. And what's actually true in the real world is longer bouts of steady state, moderately intense cardio actually has a greater afterburn than doing HIIT cardio. And so if you think 20 minutes of HIIT is going to burn more calories in the aftermath, the afterburn, than doing 60 minutes of steady state, you're wrong. And so rather than going really hard and running, thinking, wow, I'm burning off so many calories, I'm going to do this 20 minutes really hard, better to knock your speed down a little bit, go at a moderate pace for a longer period of time. Much easier for your body to recover. Easier for your body to handle walking at a fast pace than sprinting at a hard pace. Also, your choice of cardio, very important. Running, one of the worst forms of cardio you could possibly do if your goal is in fact to build muscle. Why? Because the eccentric load on the muscle, every time you take a step, your body weight is landing, pounding on that pavement. If you weigh 200 pounds and you're going for a run, think of how much weight is landing on your foot every single time you run. Perhaps 3 times your weight. 200 pounds times 3, it feels like 600 pounds landing on your knees, ankles, and hips, and so on. And this eccentric load is causing micro tears in your muscles. Your quads, hamstrings, you're getting micro tears, tearing down the muscle of which your body has to then recover from. And so if you're trying to recover from micro tears caused during running and from squatting at the same time, do you really think your body can handle all this? Of course not. It's called overtraining. And so what is the end result? Legs get smaller. You got stringier legs saying, oh, all this cardio, when I do a show, my legs get small. I had great quads in the off season, and then I get to the show and my legs are small. Why do you think? Because you were overdoing your cardio, doing it too long, too hard, as well as trying to train legs, squats, and so on, your body can't handle it. It becomes catabolic. The muscle gets smaller. And so the smart way to do it, do easier cardio. And so as I approach a show, as I'm dieting, my cardio gets easier. In the off season, when you have a lot of energy, you can do cardio at a faster pace. Easier to recover, you got tons of food. But when you're getting close to a show, when you're hardly eating, hardly getting through the day, lacking energy, clearly he's lacking energy, taking adderall, Clen, Rowalcine, and so on. He doesn't have the energy, he's having a hard time recover, and he's going to lose muscle. And so the best decision is to do year-round cardio at a moderate pace, keep your body fit, and have a healthy body fat percentage, of which James English clearly does. He doesn't get fat in the off-season. That allows him to diet for a shorter period of time and allows him to retain a lot more muscle than if he became obese, force-feeding in his off-season. And James English then goes through his posing, and I've been watching his posing as the weeks go by. He's making major improvements. Coach Kyle doing an excellent job showing him exactly how to hit those poses. And as he gets leaner, you can clearly see all the weaker areas. For example, his hamstrings, they are getting peeled. He always had the crazy feathers in the quads. Quads, no problem getting shredded. But as he continues to diet, even his weaker areas, for example, hamstrings, even that's getting shredded. And so if you want to know if you're truly peeled, don't look at your strongest body part, for example, quads or abs, for example, and say, wow, look at my abs, I'm shredded. Look at your fattest body part. Whatever's the fattest, if that looks lean, trust me, you are in game shape condition if your weak body parts now look shredded. And for most people, I'm sorry to say, you have twice as much fat to lose as you think if you want to enter a bodybuilding competition. James is already mind-blowing shredded, and for anyone to even be close to this lean, shredded. But for bodybuilding purposes, to be the leanest man on the stage, he has to get even leaner. And so although he looks ridiculous, he wants to look more ridiculous.
You ready for our jog?
And so his choice of cardio, going for a jog. Now, normally for most people, I'd say, this is great, this is amazing. But for James, who's getting ready for a bodybuilding competition, it's not the way to go. That's just my 2 cents. I'm just telling you what I think. I would prefer to see him doing a fast walk, a hike, perhaps the elliptical, bike riding, something without the eccentric load on the muscle. This was also discussed on Fouad Abiad's podcast with Nick Walker, Ian Valère, of which they discussed what kind of cardio is best. They said Bike riding actually a very good form of cardio, as was explained, because there's no eccentric load. Think of it. You're pedaling on the bike, there's continuous force on the pedals, versus running, there's pounding every time on the pavement. And so if you want to maximize muscle retention when dieting, please choose a different form of cardio than jogging and or running. And I don't want to discourage people from running. It's not that it's bad for you, it's that for bodybuilding purposes, it's less than optimal. Just trying to make a video explaining what's going to happen to your legs in the real world. There are some athletes like Nick Bear, for example, who can run, has a great physique, but I do personally believe if he slacked off on the running, perhaps did more bike riding, his legs would be that much better. And so it's not that you can't have muscle and run at the same time, it's that you can't optimally build muscle in the legs and run simultaneously.
Why does it literally sound like a tornado?
Did you do something to this recently?
And it literally looks like I just drove in my Urus to go visit James English. Sush is in the house, or shall I say in the Urus, coming to visit James English. And so Sush, on the same page as Coach Greg, love this guy. He's saying, really, you're going for a fasted cardio jog. He's thinking, a walk, sure, but a jog? And so you can see the body language, the facial expressions. He's thinking, I wouldn't do that, but hey, you be you. And so James says, you want to know what my breakfast was this morning, Sush? Glenn? So he knows what's going on. He's like, yeah, I could guess. And so he goes on to explain Rowalskine, Clen, Adderall. And what's Sush's response?
Off camera, that's Adderall and Clen me. You be careful.
Off camera, that Cookbooked me. And so Sush, also a great guy to listen to. He's not going to BS you. Clearly saying, yeah, I've used it. And be careful with this stuff. I 100% agree with Sush, and I'm positive that James also would agree with this. And so I think it's not going to be a problem for him because he recognizes the dangers. But what happens is many people do not recognize the dangers. They don't watch videos or learn enough about it. They just go in blindly and take whatever people say to take. That can be a huge mistake. If you don't know the pros as well as the cons when taking a supplement, you don't know the signs, the warning signs that you need to look out for. And so if you see that the dose is no longer sufficient and you keep upping the dose, it's not enough, and you keep seeking more, be careful. Also remember, Adderall can release a lot of dopamine. You can literally get addicted to this feeling and crave it more often than not. It's a slippery slope. And so drugs, for many people, especially those with addictive personalities, you need to be more careful than last time.
You don't feel like it? When'd you take it? When'd you take it?
Like an hour ago.
In 2 hours, I bet. Or an hour from now, you're...
And so I love this candid conversation. He's just like, dude, it was an hour ago? Yeah, wait a couple hours. Just because you've taken something and an hour's gone by doesn't mean it's in full effect. Trust me, perhaps you have friends, I mean, none of us would ever do this, taking shrooms, 30 minutes, perhaps an hour's gone by, I don't really feel it. Let's take it again. Perhaps you tried this with marijuana brownies, for example. And so you re-up the dose and 5 minutes later, you're like, oh, I'm feeling it now. Only you're not feeling the second dose. The first one's finally kicked in. And lo and behold, wait till the second kicks in. Not a good sign. I've seen many people in the past do this. Gots to be more careful than last time, especially using drugs that you haven't experimented with before.
Yeah, and I'm going to get coffee right now.
Wait, you guys are running to Starbucks?
We're gonna get coffee, drink it, and then we're gonna go to the park and go on a jog.
Good luck, bro.
This is one of the best conversations I've ever seen. For me personally, I just love this conversation. That's why I had to do a video as soon as I saw it. Sorry it's taking so long. And so James is telling Sush, I'm going over to get a coffee. I'm going to jog over, get a coffee, go for a run, all this stuff. Sush's like, good luck. He's a good friend. He doesn't want to say anything too abrupt. The guy's on a diet. He's doing what he thinks is best. But he's like, good luck. Be careful. I'm warning you, but just be careful. Gotta love Sush. He's being honest. And remember, when you're talking to your friends, it's a lot easier to tell them what they want to hear than what they need to hear. What they need to hear, be careful with that. Not sure it's the best decision. It's your decision to make. Please do your research. Be careful. Don't get addicted. Best of luck to you. Tell me the results.
I'm so glad that I'm fasted and you're taking your sweet ass time to pick out some strawberries.
I mean, for me, this is epic because I've dieted to this extent. I can 100% relate with how James is feeling right now. I've done this dozens of times. I know how he feels. He's fasted. He's at the grocery store. His girlfriend's taking her time picking out which strawberries to get and so on. He's dying of hunger, starving on all kinds of stimulants and stuff that are kicking in. And he's like, Oh, trust me, I know that feeling. Hopefully they get the food faster than last time.
We power walked, but I worked up a bad sweat.
And so perhaps he took Sush's advice, and instead of going for the jog, he ended up doing a power walk. Great to see. And from the looks of it, the quads, they're still mind-blowing shredded, lots of size. And so I don't believe he's hurting his legs with the power walk. And so I wanted to point this out. Notice he's getting sugar-free flavor shots for his coffee. Also getting sweeteners, artificial sweeteners. He's also been told by Coach Kyle that he can have sugar-free Jell-O. Not only that, he likes to have Coke Zero, caffeine-free perhaps. These all contain artificial sweeteners. And I've said in many videos in the past, it's okay to have non-nutritive sweetened beverages, such as Crystal Light, Mio, Diet Cokes, and so on. And so although a very small percentage of people report that they get bloated or that it causes them to be more hungry when switching from, for example, regular pop to diet pop, but what studies overall show is that people that go from drinking regular pop to non-nutritive sweetened beverages, for example, diet pop, they actually lose weight and keep it off more than people who switch to water. What is the reason for this? Well, perhaps it satisfies that sweet craving. And so if your diet is rather boring, perhaps it's a lot of fruits, vegetables, and extra lean sources of meat, and you have no sweets or sugars in your diet, and you drink a couple of Diet Cokes, that can perhaps satisfy that sweet tooth, and instead of having chocolate cake, ice creams, candies, and so on, you drink the Diet Pop. And so overall, what the research actually supports is it's okay. Not only is it okay, it's been shown to help people to lose more weight and keep it off. And so why am I saying this? Well, a lot of people are going to say, if you're a contest prep dieter, you shouldn't be drinking Diet Pops and so on. He's clearly having Diet Pop. He's being told he can have sugar-free Jell-O. He's having sugar-free flavor shots, Splendas, and so on. He's doing that while on a diet. And so it's okay. So whether or not you're losing weight to enter a competition or just to be healthy, it's okay to have sugar-free sweeteners. And if you're looking for something that can help, please consider getting my cookbook. Low-calorie, high-volume meals with lots of protein. The number one reason diets fail is because you're hungry. If you're not hungry and you're satisfying your cravings, the chances of sticking to your diet for the long term greatly go up. And oftentimes people think the cookbook is just full of artificial sweeteners. Listen, there are many recipes that have artificial sweeteners in them if you want. There are also many recipes that have absolutely none. You can choose whether or not you want to add artificial sweeteners in your products or not. For example, protein ice cream. You can make it and add a Splenda, or you can make it without the Splenda. Depends how sweet you want it. Also, a lot of people seem to be overdoing the guar gum and xanthan gum, saying it's bloating them so much when they're having the anabolic protein ice cream. You don't need much or nothing at all. If you're using casein, it's going to be way thicker. And so if you want to make anabolic protein ice cream and you don't want to use guar gum or xanthan gum, use casein. If you use whey, it's going to be a lot thinner. You need some guar gum, xanthan gum to make it thick. But remember, a little goes a long way. When I make mine, I typically use 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. Not tablespoon, 1/4 to 1/2 of a teaspoon. So I watched a video that James said he doesn't want artificial sweeteners, that it possibly can bloat them, that it's too much. Well, based on this evidence, I do believe that he does consume artificial sweeteners, and not just a little bit, a fair amount. Nothing wrong with that. And that if he wanted to curb his appetite, he could in fact have anabolic ice cream. He's not having anabolic French toast, anabolic protein pancakes, and so on. Doesn't need to. I'm just saying if he chose to do so, it wouldn't hurt his physique. Whether you're a competition bodybuilder or just the average Joe trying to lose weight, it can work for everyone. I've literally coached IFBB pro bodybuilders having protein ice cream, anabolic French toast, pancakes, and so on, and they're winning pro cards. These are the best of the best athletes, and clearly it worked for them. And so before judging and thinking, oh, it's probably just full of sweeteners, this cookbook, it's not. It's got regular recipes that are lower in fat and calories, and some recipes have sweetener if you like it sweet. If you don't like it sweet, you don't need to use them. If you like it sweeter than last time, be my guest, use more. It's okay. I personally don't have a problem with artificial sweeteners. If you do have a problem, perhaps you're in the small percentage you do, then don't use them. And so based on my own personal experience, as well as that of the thousands of people I've coached, and James English's own personal videos, I do believe that artificial sweeteners can have a place in a person's diet.
So I always use, I have a choice between whey isolate in the morning or egg whites.
And so he's eating egg whites because he wants more volume to make him more full, to decrease his appetite. Exactly why I keep preaching that people can benefit from my cookbook. And I'm not saying that Coach Kyle's diet isn't working. So many people think that I'm shitting on other people just because I'm promoting my cookbook or saying this is how I would do it. I'm not saying he has to do it my way. I'm saying my way is a way. It works for me. It works for thousands of people I've coached. And it's working for tens of thousands of people who have bought my cookbook. And so if you think it doesn't work, consider tens of thousands of people have bought the book, losing weight, keeping it off, getting in the shape of their lives. Once and for all. And so if you want to get the cookbook, please click the link in the description. Not only do we have the PDF version, we also have the hard copy version. Finally, The Rock has come back to... Well, you know what he says.
The Rock has come back to the WWF.
Finally, the hard copy version of the cookbook is here. Also, the hard copy version of the training books. And so if you want to get that, please click the link in the description. And so for those who bought the PDF version of the book in the past, we do have a special discount code for you. And so if you're interested, please click the link in the description or go check your emails for my newsletter. You will see a special dramatic discount price for those of you who purchased the PDF book in the past. And so hopefully I was able to educate you on what it's like to diet and prepare for a competition to get in the shape that James is in. Please go follow his journey. He has 100,000 followers. Congratulations to James English getting that milestone. He's going to be getting that plaque from YouTube. He's officially a YouTuber at this point, 100,000 followers. Wishing him the best in the competition. Don't forget to subscribe to James English's channel. Also use code Joe on Gorilla Mind if you're interested in buying his product, supporting him. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching, Greg Doucette IB Pro. Please check out the Boops. If you're interested in natural supplements from Harder Than Last Time, click the link in the description. Also, the free training book, Coaching Plans by me and my team. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. I almost feel like I did a Derek deep dive, 55 minutes of ranting on this guy's diet, and I only got through breakfast. Anyway, hopefully you watched the video. You actually stuck around. Gertie's doing circles all over the living room here. Gert, are you on Adderall? Is that why you got so much energy? And until next time, I am out.